The Amazon rainforest, a name that conjures myth and mystery. It's more than a jungle. It's a living world, a biological treasure house covering over 2 million square miles. As the lungs of our planet, it's a force of nature so powerful, it creates its own weather. From the air, the scale is impossible to comprehend. An endless green carpet, a sea of treetops stretching beyond any horizon. It seems peaceful, almost inviting. But that illusion shatters the moment your feet touch the ground. Down here, in the suffocating gloom of the understory, it's a different world entirely. This is a place I call the Green Hell, and it has earned its name. It's a world of staggering beauty, where shafts of light pierce the canopy like cathedral windows. But this beauty is a mask for incredible danger. Every shadow can hide a jaguar, every pool an anaconda, every rustle in the leaves a signal that you are being watched. The air itself is a thick, wet blanket of humidity that clings to you. The heat is relentless, sapping your strength, and the constant buzz of insects can test the limits of your sanity. The sheer scale of it can crush your spirit. This is a place that demands absolute respect, a place that has swallowed explorers whole, leaving only cautionary tales. The jungle reclaims everything. Imagine stepping into a world where the 21st century ceases to exist, where your GPS is useless and your phone is a dead weight. Here your status means nothing. Survival is the only currency that matters. You are stripped bare to your most primal instincts. You're not at the top of the food chain anymore. In the Amazon, you are part of it. The dense canopy above blocks the sun, creating a perpetual, disorienting twilight on the forest floor. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a primal smell that gets into your soul. The sound is a constant, overwhelming symphony, the screech of monkeys, the chorus of a million insects. But it's the silences that are truly terrifying. You learn fast here because every decision, from which vine you grab to which water you drink, could be your last. It's a constant battle of wits against an environment that is both your provider and your greatest adversary. One plant can offer a life-saving meal. Its neighbor can deliver a painful death. Many have tried to tame this wilderness, to map its secrets and claim its riches. But the Amazon guards its mysteries fiercely. It's not just the jaguars, the venomous snakes, or the piranha-filled rivers you have to worry about. There are dangers here that are far more subtle. The greatest unknown, the most unpredictable element, is man. Hidden deep within this impenetrable labyrinth are tribes who have had little to no contact with the outside world. They are the true masters of this domain, guardians of ancient secrets, living as their ancestors did for millennia. For them, we are the aliens, invaders from a world that has only ever brought them disease and destruction. They neither know our world, nor have any reason to trust it. Venturing into their territory is a gamble with the highest stakes imaginable. This isn't a trip to the zoo. There are no guides, no safety nets. This is real life, raw and unfiltered, where the line between observer and participant blurs with terrifying speed. We're going to journey deep into the heart of this enigma, to the very edge of the known world. We'll explore the stories of those who dared to enter these forbidden lands and came face to face with its most isolated inhabitants. These are tales of courage, of miscalculation, and of the terrifying, often violent clash between two completely different worlds. We'll try to understand why these tribes remain hidden, what drives their hostility, and what secrets they still hold. This is a journey into a place of profound mystery, but also into the depths of human nature itself, our curiosity, our faith, and our capacity for misunderstanding. So grab your gear and check your nerve. We're heading into the Green Hell. Narrator, VO. In the Bay of Bengal lies an island shrouded in a self-imposed quarantine that has lasted for millennia. North Sentinel Island. It is a place that exists outside of time, fiercely guarded by its inhabitants. But some boundaries, no matter how clearly marked, are seen by others as invitations. The story of John Allen Chau is a modern tragedy that starkly illustrates the perils of crossing them. Narrator, VO. In 2018, John Allen Chau, a 26-year-old American adventurer and evangelical missionary, set his sights on this forbidden land. This was not a sudden whim. For years, Chau had been meticulously planning, training, and praying for the moment he could reach what he called Satan's last stronghold. He became singularly obsessed with the idea of bringing the Christian gospel to the Sentinelese people, a tribe he believed was waiting to be saved. Narrator, VO. He was acutely aware of the risks. Indian law explicitly forbids travel within 5 nautical miles of the island, a law designed not only to protect outsiders from the Sentinelese, but more importantly, to protect the Sentinelese from the outside world. With no immunity to common diseases like the flu or measles, a single contact could trigger an epidemic and wipe them out. Chau knew this. He also knew of the tribe's violent history of repelling anyone who dared to approach. Narrator VO. But in his mind, a divine calling superseded earthly laws. Driven by this fervent sense of purpose, he operated with the secrecy of a spy. He arrived in the Andaman Islands under the guise of an adventure tourist. Under the cover of darkness, he paid a group of local fishermen $500 to illegally ferry him to the shores of North Sentinel Island. Narrator VO. He believed he was an apostle on a divine mission, a messenger of God's love. That unshakable belief would ultimately cost him his life. On November 15th, he made his first approach, paddling his kayak towards the beach. His initial attempts at contact were met with a mixture of curiosity, fear, and hostility. He chronicled the tense encounter in a detailed journal, which he later passed back to the fisherman. Narrator VO. He wrote of shouting, "My name is John, I love you and Jesus loves you." He tried to offer gifts, a fish, a small ball. He sang worship songs. At first, the Sentinelese men, armed with bows and arrows, seemed amused, laughing at his efforts. But their mood quickly soured. As Chau describes it, a young boy drew his bow. The arrow struck the Bible he was holding out in front of him, piercing the cover. Narrator VO. Terrified, Chau scrambled back to his kayak and paddled furiously towards the fishing boat, but he was not deterred. For him, this was not a definitive rejection, not a final warning to stay away. Instead, he interpreted the event through the lens of his faith. The arrow striking his Bible was a sign, a spiritual attack from Satan. It was a test he was determined to pass. Narrator VO. He spent the night on the fishing boat, wrestling with his fear, but reaffirming his resolve. He was convinced he could break through their defenses, both physical and spiritual. The next day, November 16th, he made his final trip. Before he left, he handed his journal to the fishermen and instructed them to leave without him. He was going all in. Narrator VO. He was going to stay, for better or for worse. The fishermen, anxious and uncertain, retreated to a safe distance as instructed. The following morning, they sailed back towards the island's edge. What they saw confirmed their worst fears. From a distance, they witnessed a group of islanders on the beach, dragging Chau's lifeless body across the sand before burying him in a shallow grave. Narrator VO. His body was never recovered. His journal, filled with his last thoughts, fears, and fervent prayers, was the only thing that returned. His final entries reveal a man at war with himself. He wrote, "You guys might think I'm crazy in all this, but I think it's worthwhile to declare Jesus to these people." Yet in a moment of raw humanity, he also confessed, "God, I don't want to die." Narrator VO. News of his death ignited a global firestorm. Headlines painted him as a martyr, a fool, a colonialist, an adventurer. His story sparked a fierce and complex debate about the ethics of modern missionary work, the rights of uncontacted tribes, and the enduring arrogance of a world that refuses to leave well enough alone. Chau's death was a heartbreaking and utterly preventable tragedy. It was the direct result of a head-on collision between two irreconcilable worldviews. Narrator VO. To John Allen Chau, he was a messenger of eternal salvation, risking everything for a divine cause. But to the Sentinelese, a people who have violently resisted all outsiders for tens of thousands of years, he was simply the latest in a long line of invaders, a terrifying unknown who breached their sacred shores, potentially carrying invisible diseases as deadly as any weapon. His actions, however well-intentioned in his own mind, were a profound violation of their sovereignty and their fundamental right to be left alone. His story serves as the ultimate tragic cautionary tale, a reminder that some boundaries exist for a reason. Crossing them doesn't make you a hero or a martyr, it makes you a threat. And in the world's last isolated corners, threats are, and always have been, eliminated.